And an Israeli airstrike targets and destroys a high-rise building that housed offices of the Associated Press. And hundreds packed downtown Fargo for the region's first ever ABLE Games. Plus, the surprising change in CDC guidelines for mask wearing has some cities, states, and businesses scrambling. Valley News Live at 6 starts right now.
This is Valley News Live at 6.
Good evening. I am Nashay Taylor, and thank you for joining us. Today, an Israeli airstrike targeted and destroyed a high-rise building in Gaza City that housed offices of the Associated Press and other media outlets. NBC's Raf Sanchez reports from Beirut.
A surreal and pretty horrifying scene in Gaza City as the Israeli military struck a multi-story building containing the Gaza bureaus of the Associated Press, Al Jazeera, and a number of other international media outlets. Earlier today, the owner of the building got a call from the Israeli military saying, "We are going to strike this property." So these journalists basically had enough time to get out of their offices, go across the street, turn their cameras around, and then film their bureaus being destroyed by an Israeli airstrike. Now, the Israeli military says Hamas was also using this building to house military assets. They have not been very specific about what those assets were, but they insist this was a legitimate military target. As far as we know, no one was injured in that strike. Everyone was able to get out in time. But it is causing outcry around the world. The president of the Associated Press, Gary Pruitt, saying in a statement that he is shocked and horrified by the attack.
We narrowly escaped a huge loss of life. We had 12 journalists in that building. And those brave journalists not only got out, but they were able to salvage much of our equipment because it's important that we continue to tell this story.
Now, this strike, one of only a number that Israel has carried out in the last 24 hours. We now have nearly 40 kids dead in Gaza and nearly 140 people killed in total. On the Israeli side, 9 people are dead, including an Israeli man killed in a rocket attack on the city of Ramat Gan earlier. So for now, the violence continues with no ceasefire in sight. Raf Sanchez, NBC News, Beirut.
China landed a spacecraft on Mars today for the first time in the latest advance for its space program. Touchdown was just after 7 a.m. Beijing time. Plans call for a rover to stay in the lander for a few days of diagnostic tests before rolling down a ramp to explore an icy area of Mars. It will join an American one that arrived on the Red Planet back in February. The operator of the nation's largest gas pipeline announced today it has returned to normal operations. A ransomware attack forced the shutdown of the Colonial Pipeline last week. The pipeline stretches from Texas to New Jersey and supplies about 45% of gasoline used on the East Coast. The shutdown caused shortages at the pumps and long lines. Now, Summer is here with a first look at your forecast. Summer, what can we expect?
Nashay, it is a beautiful day across the valley. There have been some showers and thunder showers, but check out temperatures for our Saturday. It was a little cooler for Minnesota counties, mostly warming up into the low 70s, but it was 77 for a high temp in Fargo, Hallock, Langdon, Carrington, Harvey, and Jamestown. 75 in Grand Forks, Grafton, Cavalier, Devils Lake, Valley City, and Gwinner. Just a beautiful day with overall a lot of sunshine, and temperatures are still mostly in the upper 60s and low 70s. We have had some spotty rain showers, mostly up along the international border, and a few rumbles of thunder within them as well. Hallock reporting a lightning strike just a moment ago, so if you're in Hallock, maybe hearing a quick rumble of thunder or two, along with some fairly light rain showers passing through the region. And turning on visible satellite, you can see across most of the valley those clouds are fizzling away, but still a few cumulus clouds bubbling up off to the west. Nashay, that could bring a couple of sprinkles to our easternmost or westernmost counties, I should say, later, but overall a very pleasant night to enjoy any type of activities outside.
Yeah, it was definitely a beautiful day today, so yeah, it'd be awesome. All right, thanks so much, Summer. A surprise change in the CDC guidelines for mask wearing this week has cities, states, and businesses scrambling. NBC's Chris Pallone has a look at how the nation is responding to the new phase in the COVID-19 pandemic. All right, we'll go back to that one. All right, up next, 34 House Republicans have written a letter to Speaker Nancy Pelosi asking her to lift the mask mandate for members of Congress. The CDC announced Thursday that people fully vaccinated against COVID-19 do not need to wear masks or practice social distancing indoors, but it's estimated that only 13 of the representatives who signed the letter have actually been vaccinated for COVID-19. In response to the GOP letter, Speaker Pelosi said the pandemic restrictions will remain in place until more members are fully vaccinated. Now back here locally, 40 new cases of COVID-19 are being reported by the North Dakota Department of Health today. No new deaths has been reported. So far, 1,504 people in the state have died from the illness since the start of the pandemic. The daily positivity rate now sits at 4.67%. And across the river, the Minnesota Department of Health is reporting 882 new COVID-19 cases as of today. 3 more people have died since Friday. The total death toll in Minnesota now stands at 7,286. Overnight lane closures will be starting tomorrow in Moorhead and is expected to last until May 23rd. Crews will be completing maintenance work Sunday through Thursday from 8 p.m. to 6:30 a.m. They will start on Highway 10 between Center and Main Avenues. This week, the work will then move to Interstate next week. Then move to Interstate I-94 starting next week. Overnight crews will be doing bridge maintenance along the interstate. Today, Governor Tim Walz kicked off the Minnesota fishing opener by casting a line on Otter Tail Lake. This is a tradition that has been held by Democratic, Republican, and Independent governors since 1948. Now, there's more than 124,000 acres of water in Otter Tail County, and fishing in Minnesota is a billion-dollar industry. Today, hundreds of people packed downtown Fargo for the region's first ever Able Games. Volunteers and athletes competed at the Broadway Square through rowing, burpees, jump rope, and other events. Local celebrities and sports figures came out to support and cheer the competitors on. This event is organized by TNT Gymnastics and several volunteers. Those that helped out say contributing to the community means a lot.
You know, this ranks way up there at the top. You know, this is something that's special, and like I said, the people at TNT and everybody involved have made this so much more special than I ever could have imagined.
Yeah, it's great. I mean, that's what Fargo is we kind of get together and put events on like this and really come together as a community.
Working their butts off and like getting to showcase their abilities is just like something that's really close to my heart. And so.
There are plans for hosting the Able Games and events in the near future. Later on Valley News Live at 6. A new federal warning is being issued on growing scams linked to the explosion of cryptocurrencies.
And it was a beautiful Saturday all across the valley. A few rumbles of thunder here and there, and temperatures are going to continue to climb over the next several days. I'll have your 7-day forecast for how warm we're going to get, and I'll track those showers that are still lingering across the valley tonight. Details are coming up next.
This is Valley News Live.